Big news breaking from the Ubisoft camp regarding Stadia. Let's talk about it. See, as Ubisoft doubles down on commitment to Stadia with more games and job postings, it's SDO Daily, baby. Let's get into it.
I'm not sorry. Stay sick cause I follow my gut. They say I was pushing my luck. I'ma push me a matte all black truck. Oh, I'm not sorry.
What's up, people? What's up, people? What's up, people? It is your boy MM2K back again with another episode of SDO Daily. Do me a huge favor, or do us a huge favor before we get into this one. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and definitely rock those bells for notifications, please, so you know when we're dropping these doses. We appreciate all of y'all straight up. Y'all know the deal, y'all know the reason, and by now y'all should know the slogan. We are not too proud to ask. Let's get into it. All right, y'all. So here's the story. Ubisoft had his conference call today where they talked about their financials and stuff like that with investors. And there's a lot of mainstream gaming stuff happening, like them pushing back, I believe, Skull and Bones and some other things happening. But for those of us within the cloud world and the cloud space that have been eyeballing the interactions and the support that Ubisoft has provided Stadia since the announcement that would be happening, I believe it was at GDC 2019, where the partnership was first announced. It's been an up and down ride. We started off with Division 2, which is arguably one of the greatest ports, if not the greatest port on the platform. And then we've seen subsequent games come that were less impressive. Well, now, after the smoke has settled in a lot of ways for a lot of people, and questions still loom about the support that third-party developers like Ubisoft will provide Stadia for its systemic future, Ubisoft, in so many words, kind of doubled down on what they're going to do for the platform by action, more than specifically saying, hey, look, we're going to be here for decades and decades and decades. Actions speak louder than words in this case. So with no further ado, let me stop my babbling. You know how we do. Let me show you something. All right, so this is an article from 9 to 5 Google that talks about what was spoken today in that investor call. And the article reads as follows: Ubisoft announces Rainbow Six Siege, For Honor, and more coming to Stadia. Let's get into it. Look at that. I like that nice little pic there. This morning, Ubisoft has announced a variety of new games and expansions coming soon to Stadia and other platforms, including Rainbow Six Siege and For Honor. Let me make this bigger for the people in the back. As noted by Cloudy with a Chance of Games, shout out to them, Ubisoft held an investor call this morning during which they shared their list of expected releases for the fiscal quarter of 2021, running from April through June. The titles run the gamut of platforms, with releases planned for PC consoles and Stadia alike. In the mix, there are a handful of previously unannounced Stadia ports of Ubisoft's biggest games. The biggest game coming soon to Stadia is Rainbow Six Siege, the ever-popular tactical shooter, which puts emphasis on teamwork, communication, and cooperation. Specifically, the release is marked Year 6 Season 2, which is poised to launch in June. On PC, Ubisoft Plus subscribers get full access of Rainbow Six Siege's in-game operators from the last 5 years. It would make sense for this same deal to be made available for Stadia players. They give you a list from the investors call, the graphic that shows what's coming where as far as platforms are concerned. Also in schedule, Ubisoft shares that its incredibly popular medieval fighting game For Honor is set to get a Stadia port. If you're unfamiliar, the game pits the greatest factions of warriors in history, including Vikings, samurai, and more against one another, an incredibly challenging yet rewarding combat system. And the very last one. Proper reveal in this list is that Ubisoft is preparing yet another Uno release, also coming to Stadia. Uno 50th Anniversary Edition. It's not clear if this is simply another deck matching the physical 50th anniversary deck, or if it's another full release of the popular card game. Elsewhere, In the release schedule, Stadia fans can look forward to expansions, 2 Watchdog Legions, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Immortals Phoenix Rising, and The Division 2. Notable, nearly every release on Ubisoft's first quarter docket is coming to Stadia except for the new DLC for Anno 1800, which is only PC, you know. All in all, it seems that Ubisoft is quite committed to Stadia as a platform and as a way players to enjoy an Ubisoft Plus subscription without dedicated gaming hardware. Wowzers! And this is backed up more. If you look a little bit further into the investment call, this is backed up a little bit more by some of the numbers that were shared beyond what our good friends at 9to5 Google shared. Here goes a tweet that I sent out earlier. Let me show you something else. So this is a graphic of the Ubisoft fiscal year 21 net bookings per platform. And I quoted in regards to this on Twitter. I'm going to guess that an extremely large part of this other that you'll see here on this graphic is Stadia. If that's the case, 3 to 4% for an emerging platform is not bad compared to the rest. Excuse me. And then I asked everybody that's in the Twitter space for their thoughts. And here's it broken down on the graphic. PlayStation 33%, PC 23%, Xbox 21%, Switch 11%, mobile 8%, others 4%. So very interesting because this platform isn't even 2 years old yet. Granted, there is Ubisoft Plus on here, and I'm not sure how the Stadia portion of it is attributed. Like someone like myself, I've had Ubisoft Plus from the very beginning that it was available, but I mainly got it for Stadia. So I patiently waited over a year. Now it's finally on Stadia, and I have it on Stadia for the version that's in the United States right now that's just come out of beta, right? So I don't know how much of those dollars they attribute to Stadia, you know what I mean? For situations like mine, or do they look at the fact that, hey, you only signed up via Stadia from day one? I'm not sure. But I think this is primarily focused on game purchases. And if you look at that again, we know that Stadia is not the largest player base at the moment, and that's okay. I think it's tracking well. I've seen numbers in the past that have shown that there has been significant increases and spikes at times, and it just seems like that, you know, there's more and more people on there. Jack Deslip and I, we do the numbers for Stadia show first Sunday of every month, combing over the estimates that Jack provides. This thing, I believe, is growing a lot more than what a lot of people suspect, also in culmination from hardcore numbers that I've seen. So if you look at that and look at the youngness, you know what I'm saying, the infancy of this platform, it's reasonable to believe that a lot of that 4% is Stadia, and 2, B, that is hell of impressive for a platform under 2 years. Especially that you have something like the Switch, where granted, I get it, the Switch only at this time of this recording has 6 games from Ubisoft, opposed to Stadia's, I believe, 21 or 22, but still, you know what I'm saying? Those 6 games, Rayman, the crossover Ubisoft and Mario title, those are huge games. So for us to possibly be the majority of that 4% to Switch's 11%, I think is speaks volumes and can speak to why Ubisoft, like 9to5 Google is saying, is furthering their support of Stadia, why we feel like they're doubling down. And that's not it, folks. That's not it. There's more. Let me show you something else. If you go to the Ubisoft site, let me make this bigger for the people in the back. If you go to the Ubisoft site and you say, I want a job, and you simply say, I want a job related to Stadia. That's it. I'm that much of a fanatic. I'm willing to leave my 6-figure job and come here and work at Ubisoft. Maybe it's 6 figures. We don't know. I don't know what the paychecks there over at Ubisoft. But I'm willing to leave my job because I love Stadia that much. I want to work for Ubisoft developing for Stadia. If you type Stadia in the job results button or job results bar, you get 11 open positions that make reference to Stadia. Now, granted, these 11 positions aren't only for Stadia, but a lot of them make a hardcore reference to Stadia, like, look, hey, this is going to help us bring games and do development for platforms, including this, and Stadia. Some list Stadia within cloud development, but one in particular is Stadia specific. This one is called the Special Tester Google Compliance, right? And shout out to the aforementioned Cloudy with a Chance of Games for being the ones discovering this one as well. It reads that this job description, as the Google Compliance Special Tester, you will oversee the support of console standards. You will ensure that the game meets all of the manufacturer's technical requirements, all right? And this is something that is very important because, like we said earlier, the support that is available via Ubisoft for Stadia has been questioned recently. So by them doubling down with more games, you know what I'm saying? By there being signs possibly that Stadia is doing some good tracking as far as the financials are concerned for how young and for how small the platform may be early on, of course, that would be expected. That the numbers aren't horrible by, certain estimations. You can see why they would want to double down and make sure that they buck that trend of the quality of the things that they put on the platform actually get better, not worse, right? So all this is good stuff for the platform. It's great. It also goes to buck this convention. We had a very interesting conversation with a journalist earlier today. That'll be in a future video. But, let's not try to pile on Stadia and just get this click-worthy stuff. Let's talk about all this other stuff happening on the periphery that shows not only is Stadia committed for the future, but its partners are committed as well. I think that's even bigger than Stadia themselves being committed, is that when their partners are committed, because that's what they appear to be doubling down on themselves, is getting partnerships established to bring you the games that you want to play without having to wait in line, without having to worry about downloads and all that other stuff, without all the friction. With that said, that's it from your boy MM2K. Let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below, because like we always say, who cares what we think? But if you did like what we had to say, check out the links below to follow us. They'll lead you to the Broadband Bullies, PNTS Network, Hard Knock Digital Culture, and yes, here, the Stadia Dosage. With all that said, we appreciate and love all of y'all for y'all support. And again, if you want us to show some more support, feel free to hit that super chat button, leave us a question or a comment. We'll answer it at a later time, or if you just want to support the platform, feel free to do that. Have a wonderful, wonderful gaming day. Peace.